So in the last video, we have seen the procedure to make the wall as well as the base cabin for the kitchen. So in this video, let us see how to make an overhead cabin for the kitchen. So before we make an overhead cabin, it is better that you create a layer in which you can keep the overhead cabin. So I'll create a new layer and I'll call it as over cabin, because that is where I'm planning to keep the overhead cabin. And I would like to give a slight variation for the overhead cabin color. Let it be this color just for the sake of identification, and I'll just make that as a current layer. Now I'll start making a profile for the overhead cabin first. So I'll start making a polyline from here. Now I would like to offset this polyline inside through a distance of 45 units, because you know that is the thickness of the overhead cabin. So I'll give offset and 45 as a offset distance. Okay, now you can just close these two endpoints using polylines. Now I'll go to pre-edit and I'll select the last drawn object. Then I'll go to join option and I'll give all. It does join all the profiles as a single unit. Now it can be readily extruded. So I'll go to extrude command and I'll give a height of extrusion of -60. Now it is extruded through a height of -60. In the negative is the axis direction. Okay, so you have made basic object for the overhead cabin. Now we have to make a light box over here. So that light box can be drawn by creating a profile over here. So I'll again make a polyline over here. Okay, then I'll give offset and I'll give an offset distance of 5 units inside. Then I'll erase the outer profile. Then I'll give a change property thickness of -10 for this. So that represents the light box. It is similar to the creation of the skirting. Now let us detail all these cabinets we have made. So first of all, let me detail the base cabins. So if you want to detail the base cabin, you have to make profiles for the base cabin. What I'll do is I'll make the layer in which the base cabinets are made as the current layer. So I'll keep base cabin as a current layer. Now I'll align the UCS on this face. So just go to UCS 3-point option and I'll keep my origin here, X in this direction, X in this direction, and Y in the vertical direction. So UCS is aligned there. You can just freeze the layer in which I've kept the wall, because that might hinder or obstruct with your profile creation. So you better freeze the layer. You know that wall is in fact created in the 0 layer. So you better freeze the 0 layer. Okay, so we have only the cabinets displayed. Now I will divide this into equal number of parts. So let me just find out this distance first. So I'll go to dist command and I'll get a distance from this endpoint to this endpoint, and you can see that distance is 246. So I would like to divide that into 5 equal parts. So I'll go to 246 divided by 5. You know that command prompt of AutoCAD can be used as a calculator. So I'll start with the left parenthesis followed by a /, then the two numbers which are to be divided. So you will get it as 49.2. So that is perfectly fine. So which is the width of a single cabinet. So you can have 5 cabinets over here. So I'll draw a polyline starting from this endpoint to this endpoint, and I'll divide this into 5 equal parts. I'll just orbit it slightly to see these points clearly, okay, for division. So I'll draw a polyline from this endpoint to this endpoint, and I'll divide that into 5 equal parts. So I'll give divide command and I'll select the profile to be divided, and I'll give the number of segments as 5. Now you can't see the points here because they are dots, so you have to obviously change the representation of the point by giving a command DDP type. So I'll change the representation to this representation. Now you can make out the points here. Now I'll draw a polyline starting from this node, because node is the option which is used in object snapping to capture a point. So I'll start from here and we can draw a perpendicular. So you have made a line. That is a division or a partition for a single cabinet. Now you can just trace a polyline over here that represents a single cabinet. Now I'll give an offset inside through a distance you can give as a 10 units, or you can give it a 7 units inside. Okay, now you give another offset over here, or else it is better that you can extrude this. So I'll give extrude command, and I'll give height of extrusion as say 1.5 units, and I'm actually planning to give a bevel for this. So since I'm planning to give a bevel, I should go to taper angle first. So I'll give a taper angle, and taper, you have two options. You can either pick from here, or you can give a taper angle, and I give a taper angle of say 60 degrees, and a 60-degree taper is given, and it will ask you for the height. Let the height be 1.5 units. So we have actually made a bevel for a single cabinet. Plus you have got the partition here. This same pattern recurs throughout. So you can just give a copy command, and you can select this, and this is the base point, and this is the second point, and you can keep on selecting the second points 5 times so that you will be able to complete the cabinet profiles. You have made the cabinets. Now you can just get rid of all these points as well as the line which you have drawn for division by giving erase command. You can just go for window option. You can select all this lines and polylines within a window, and in fact this cabinet got selected, so you can just go to remove option. You can remove this and just give an enter to get rid of all those unwanted objects. So this is how you make the profile as well as the beveling effect for the base cabin.